Hey guys, Dave here. Welcome to Centurions Review, the punk rock band of wargame review institutions. Today we're doing a first look at Omaha Beach Battle for the Bocage. It's a game from Victory Games, and they're known for detailed games, and they have a really good reputation. The game is about the D-Day landings and the 10 days afterwards to secure the beachheads. I own two of these, actually. The one we're doing the first look at is unpunched, and the other one I have is punched. This copy I'll probably end up just selling on the internet, whereas the other copy I'll keep to play eventually. Let's take a look inside the game so we can look at the components and the sequence of play and see what this is all about.
Alright, let's take a look in here, but first I want to point out this box is in really good condition. This is a nice copy. Includes a D10 dice, and here's the rules. We'll get to those in a minute. And it looks like it includes, in addition, let's look at the counters first. One, looks like 3 pages of counters. And many of them are, or all of them are double-sided pretty much. Standard NATO military symbols. I mean, for the year this game came out, which I believe was 1987? I've seen better in 1987, but they're functional. First I thought maybe it was early 1980s. I'd say that was pretty good, but not for the late 1980s. And here's a counter tray. I don't know if this is the original one that was included or what, or if the previous owner just added it. Here's your observation value chart, your barrage table, operations summary table, German operations summary, activate artillery procedure, and it's talking about transferring assets and artillery barrages. On the back it has a resistance nest, combat results table, and a regular combat results table. And here's one for the other player. Oh, this is for the US player. So it looks like the front pretty much the same. Yeah, it looks like the front is the same pretty much, except for the US operations summary is probably different, and down here it's talking about transferring assets. But let's take a look at the back. It's got another resistance nest, combat results table, and a regular CRT. And it's got your die roll modifiers over here and your armor differentials and so forth. Here's your turn track and terrain effects summary. And here's your order of battle. There's your U.S. support table, victory points summary. Keep track of operations there. There's your terrain effects summary. Gives you the combat die modification, anti-tank value modification, terrain type, and movement effects. And here's your modification calculation, whatever that is. Let's take a look at the map now. Or is there more than one map? We'll see. This is a pretty big map. Artwork's not that good for 1987, but I've seen worse. Let's see what it's got in the corners here. Here's your first wave boxes. And let's see what's up here. Here's your map key. And U.S. Naval Fire Ranges. Let's take a look at the rule book now. Rule book is, let's see how many pages here. Well, it's got a bibliography and historical notes. We won't count those. So it's 18 pages of rules, of actual rules. Yeah, Victory Games, you're not going to get a rule set that's like 8 pages or anything. They're usually typically around 20. Here's your intro, and it's going over game components. You have a combat value on the counter, anti-tank value, and a movement allowance, and it says what type of unit it is and the unit designation. And here's an artillery unit. It's got a designation, parent designation, barrage range, combat value, anti-tank factor, and movement point allowance. And here it's showing what an anti-tank unit looks like. It's got an armor value and an anti-tank value. Alright, here's your sequence of play. You got a first wave phase, which of course only takes place in the first turn, and a ranger assault phase, which of course takes place only on the first turn. And then you have a U.S. support phase, initiative phase, an operation phase, and then a German reinforcement phase, and a U.S. reinforcement phase, followed by the marker removal phase, replacement phase, fatigue recovery phase, U.S. control phase, and victory point adjustment phase, and the last thing is a turn indication phase. And now it's going over basic concepts of operations and stuff like zones of control. And it's going over lines of communication, lines of supply, fatigue. Here's more stuff about operations. Here's your infantry activation operation, artillery activation operation, artillery barrage operation, and U.S. airstrikes and naval fire. And now it's going over improved positions such as trenches and strong points. And here's your combat rules. It's got the modifiers here and stuff too. And talks about the armor differential and the combat results. And here's for attacking against German resistance nests, recovery, and your reinforcement rules. Here's your rules specific to D-Day, such as the resistant nests that you got to get rid of and your first wave units. Here's your ranger assault phase. And here it talks about how to get victory points. Looks like you got to control some victory point hexes, and you can lose victory points if there's any resistance nests remaining on the map. The U.S. player loses one victory point, just one, not one per nest. And here's your scenarios. There's a short one, which is 6 turns, a medium, which is 8, and a long, which is 10. And now it's going over German deployment. And the victory conditions for the short scenario, medium scenario, and long scenario. And then there's a bibliography and some historical notes from the author. Thanks for watching, guys. If you've tried this, definitely chime in and let us know how it is. Like I said, my unpunched copy I'll try eventually. This one's going up for sale on Consim Marketplace on Facebook, probably tonight or tomorrow. Have a good evening.